Hello, Twin Flames, and welcome to the Twin Flame Healing Revolution podcast with me, your host, Luana Spirits, an evidential psychic medium, energy healer, and twin flame coach of over 4.5+ years. I am on a mission to help twin flames heal into union and carry out their life purpose. And that is why I am so excited to finally be bringing you guys this podcast. It is so overdue. And if you don't know this about me yet, I have 5 Gemini placements and no water placements in my chart. So I'm all air. So I can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, which is probably why my soul chose to incarnate with those astrology placements because of what I'm doing on all the content creation. So, FYI, if you are listening to this podcast over on Spotify, it is also going to be on my YouTube channel, Luana Spirits with video. So, come hang out with me over on YouTube because we're going to be spilling so much juicy information about twin flames. But in today's episode, we are going to be talking about how to completely heal your twin flame connection. This is a really hot topic in the twin flame community, and there's so much information going on around out there in the twin flame community about how it is that you're actually supposed to heal yourself and manifest union. And there is a lot of conflicting information, but I have a very different perspective on this. And I feel like because of the number of years that I have been doing this, healing myself, working with clients, and really seeing things from the perspective of an evidential psychic medium, meaning I'm tapped into energy and I'm actually bringing through evidence for my clients that I'm tapped into their situation. And the things that I channel come to pass, and the energy is accurate. And so I feel like I have a very specific perspective on twin flame healing, on twin flame union, and the twin flame journey. So, in this podcast, and this whole podcast and this episode, we are going to be spilling all of that information. This is so overdue, you guys. Like, I should have probably started this podcast like 6 months ago, but better late than never. So, today we are going to go over the basics, but it's also going to be extremely in depth. We're going to go over the 3 main parts of twin flame healing, and we're going to actually delve into a lot of the commonly asked questions about the twin flame connection in general. So, here is the outline of what we're going to talk about today. The first thing that we're going to talk about is how you can heal your triggers, what triggers are, and how childhood trauma and ancestral trauma is actually blocking you and your twin flame from connecting. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about karma. We're going to talk about clearing karma using the akashic records and the violet flame. And we're going to talk about why it's so important to step into your soul level authority as a twin flame and to really tap into the soul contract that you have with your twin flame, and to clear the past life stuff, to clear all of that spiritual baggage so that you can have new experiences with your twin flame in this life. The third thing that we're going to talk about, the third piece to the puzzle, is we're going to talk about intention setting. Why intention setting is so important for manifesting your union with your twin flame, and why it's so important to follow your intuitive guidance when you're doing this. There is this information that is going around in the twin flame community, and it basically boils down to people saying, your twin flame union is going to happen. Just, do the mirror exercise, or just heal yourself, or just heal your relationship with yourself, and then your union will happen. But this is not true. This is not actually how energy works. This is not how free will works. And we're going to break that down and actually talk about how to manifest union from a sovereign, empowered space, and not just the energy of we're just leaving it up to the universe. And if it happens, it happens, because that's a very irresponsible way to go about it. And it's not going to bring you the outcome that you're actually wanting. So that is a big outline that we've got today. Let's dive right into it, shall we? So, the first thing that we're going to talk about is triggers and childhood trauma. Every single twin flame on the planet in existence is has the experience of getting super super triggered by their twin flame, right? You meet your twin flame, you feel that instantaneous attraction, and then as you're trying to connect with them, these things keep happening that cause you to feel very upset, very triggered, very disoriented, and it's essentially bringing you back to emotions that you picked up in childhood that were out of alignment with the energy of love and with peace and with authenticity. And these are energetic blockages that live throughout your body and your chakra system. And we will go into that. But really, something that people do get right is that you have to heal yourself to come into union with your twin flame and to clear the blockages. But what they don't get is how in depth that process is. And people really get stuck in the mind. They get stuck in trying to think their way out of triggers and to, force their thoughts to change and force their feelings to change. And that doesn't work. And the reason that doesn't work is because your childhood trauma is energy stored in your physical body. You have to somatically feel it and somatically release it and not just force your thoughts to change. There's also a big thing about ancestral trauma. Our ancestral trauma and the negative experiences that we pick up from our ancestors is a massive blockage to connecting with our twin flame and to union. So I was doing this healing session with a client just a few weeks ago. And I'm bringing this up to give you guys an example of ancestral trauma in action. Because sometimes when we're saying the word trauma and ancestral, we're like, well, what does that really mean? Like, I have no idea what that means. And so in this healing session with this client, we started by kind of asking, what are we trying to heal? Like, what's going on that we're not happy with? And it was basically, lack of communication with your twin flame, dysfunction, fears of rejection pain. And when we dove into her akashic records, and I'm going to go more into this in the second topic, but when we dove into her akashic records, in her family line, her guides were showing me that she had so much betrayal in her family line. This energy and like cellular memory of being betrayed in relationships and being controlled by men lived within her subconscious, within her energy, within her DNA, however you want to put it. And this ancestral trauma was acting as an active blockage between her and her twin flame. And the important thing to note about ancestral trauma is that this is not something that your soul is carrying. This is not an experience that you created for yourself in a past life. This is something that you literally took on vibrationally just from being born into this life. And so your ancestral trauma lives as reactions and responses within your body and within your subconscious mind. The way that this is manifesting for her before we did the healing was this basically blockage and pushing away connection and union with her twin flame. And it was completely subconscious. So consciously, she was like, yes, of course, I want to be with my twin flame. Of course, I want to connect more with him. But this ancestral trauma was creating this almost feedback loop where whenever she would start to feel connected, that fear would come up. That fear of like, I'm going to be abandoned, I'm going to be betrayed, I'm going to be controlled, and it's not safe to be in relationships. And so we have to heal ancestral trauma through the root chakra, and it involves a lot of violet flame energy healing and also a lot of somatic processing and a lot of awareness of our subconscious patterns. So this means keeping track of your, instantaneous reactions and responses to certain things that happen. It's about keeping track of your triggers. Now, ancestral trauma doesn't have to be so complicated because when we hear the word ancestry and we think like, oh my gosh, like how am I supposed to heal something that happened hundreds of years ago from my ancestors. But your ancestors and their memory and their consciousness is literally living within you in the present moment. So everything can be healed from the present moment. If you have a blockage, it will show up for you in the present moment, but it really starts with awareness, becoming aware of your triggers and realizing that when you get a really strong emotional reaction, asking yourself, is this even mine, or is this an ancestral wound that I'm carrying? And that kind of segues us into childhood trauma. So, our childhood trauma is any experience that we had in this lifetime. You know, we come in as a soul and our vibration is very healthy, it's very attuned to source consciousness. And then we don't receive the love that we need to receive in childhood. We have traumatic experiences where we're emotionally scarred, and we begin to build up beliefs and expectations of what we're afraid of. And things don't feel so safe to us anymore when it comes to relationships. So when you're getting triggered by your twin flame, you are either getting your childhood trauma triggered or your ancestral trauma, or usually both. So, what we want to do when we get triggered is to, first of all, be aware and think to ourselves, okay, I'm getting triggered by my twin flame. Now, let's sit with this trigger, let's sit with the feeling and feel into our physical body to feel, where is this trigger? So, let's say are you have like a little bit of an argument with your twin flame, a little bit of conflict, or maybe they're not communicating with you. When you're using the somatic healing process, you might tune into your physical body and notice that my throat feels like it's tightening up, or my chest feels like it's constricting, or I have all this tension in my neck and my shoulders and my jaw. And notice how every single time you get triggered, there is a physical response to go along with it. And this is so key. The biggest mistake that twin flames make when they get triggered is to start completely thinking about it instead of feeling it. What happens when you don't feel into your body and instead you're trying to think your way out of it is that emotion that's stored in your physical body never has the chance to move, to be processed, to be transmuted into a different energy, and then you never let it go. And then it lives in your body as muscle tension, as aches and pains, and then eventually it will manifest into some kind of illness. I am a really firm believer in the fact that every single illness in the physical body started as an emotional imbalance. And when we're pursuing medical treatment for any illness, we have to also be processing and releasing the emotions that are coming up with that. Because if you don't heal the emotional root cause, one of two things are going to happen. One is, okay, like the physical medical treatments will heal the symptoms, but then it's going to come back. Or two, it's going to not be able to be healed on a physical level. So when we're dealing with some kind of illness manifesting, and this is very common with twin flames, like twin flames will come to me and have some kind of repeating, issue, body reaction, anxiety, and just pursuing medical treatment isn't enough. You need to also be doing the emotional healing that goes along with it. You need to be doing both. So it's also never good enough to only do emotional healing with illness and no like physical pursuit of healing. Like we are energy, but we're also the physical body. You need to do both in order to balance that out. But that was a little bit of a segue into illness. And I'll probably make a whole other podcast episode on that because that's a whole rabbit hole with the medical community and the self-healing community and the metaphysics community and the like naturopathic community. But that is definitely a different topic. But back to triggers. So triggers live in your body. So what you want to do when you get triggered is to identify where in the body do you feel this trigger and let yourself fully feel it. So, no numbing yourself, no drinking alcohol to distract yourself, no getting high, like no scrolling, doom scrolling on TikTok or social media. Like, put everything down and just focus on the feeling and start to soothe yourself. Like, ask your body, okay, what is it that I need in this moment to soothe myself and to regulate my nervous system? And then take those steps. Something that is really powerful to do, and this is what I go into in my course, Master Your Triggers 7 Days to Union, where I teach you the whole somatic process of healing your twin flame triggers at the root cause, is to begin to talk to your triggers. Because every single trigger that you have is a wounded aspect of your consciousness that only needs your love and your attention. It's scared, it's hurt, it doesn't know if it's going to be okay. And so when we start to approach our triggers, kind of like we would approach a crying child or a really upset child, a really scared child, we're beginning to reconcile these parts of us that live within us that are maybe, in consciousness, living in a different paradigm. They're living in a paradigm that is scarier, where they don't feel safe and where they don't feel loved. And so it's so important to begin to see ourselves as, a bunch of different parts, a culmination of all of our life experiences. We're not just one being, we're like made up of these different aspects of ourselves. And so the more compassionate you can start to be with all these different facets of your personality, the better that you're going to be at dealing with your triggers and really healing them. Because the trigger is just like the symptom, right? And when you go into it, there's a whole aspect of your consciousness and of your emotional body that is out of balance. And when you start to give it compassion and to listen to it and to talk to it and reintegrate it through shadow work, through journaling, and through somatic emotional processing, you begin to really heal your triggers and experience healing in literally every relationship in your life. So, with that being said, let's go into number 2, clearing karma between you and your twin flame using the akashic records and the violet flame, and stepping into your soul level authority and completing your soul contracts. Wow, what a mouthful. Let's break that down, shall we? So, most twin flames, I mean, you probably listening to this are pretty intuitive if you're a twin flame. You probably had some experience with your psychic abilities and you've probably seen past lives, or you just get a feeling that you've known your twin flame before, and that this lifetime maybe isn't the first time that you've had a conscious experience, either on the earth or on parallel dimensions, in starseed realms. I mean, that's a whole rabbit hole, right? But the point is that our soul really is not having our first experience here in this life. We have lived so many lives, so many different experiences, especially with our twin flame. So that's why twin flames come into this lifetime, and there's so much baggage with your flame already. There's already blockages, there's already karmic cycles, there's already a lot of stuff going on. And this is basically because you've had past lives with your twin flame. And those are full lifetimes, full of emotions and experiences and conflict and hurt and control games. Some of the not so fun stuff, right? But a lot of those past lives are also filled with connection and union and love. But when we're coming into this life, we bring all of the unresolved stuff because your soul is here on earth to learn, to evolve, and to heal, and to master what it is you came here to do and to do as your purpose. So, another very, very, very crucial element of twin flame healing is accessing your akashic records through your intuition, invoking the violet flame, which is the flame and the energy healing modality of freedom, of clearing karma, of transmuting dense karmic energies back to source energy. So that means, all those, that maybe that like string of 5 past lives you had with your twin flame, where you two took turns rejecting each other, or, playing ego games with each other, or lying to each other for whatever reason, all of that energy gets transmuted back into unconditional love, and that blockage gets to dissolve. So we do this with Saint Germain's violet transmutational flame. If you want to meditate to this violet flame and to just start working with energy, I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel where I'm invoking the violet flame and doing a healing session. So you can just listen to those, just meditate to it, and set the intention to tap in. So the violet flame is so, so, so pivotal in twin flame healing. Very, very early on in my journey, because obviously my soul's mission is to help twin flames heal. Um, I was being drawn to the violet flame before I even knew what the word twin flame was. So my soul came into this life knowing that the violet flame was a very, very important tool for twin flames. And it's something that I'm going to be talking about a lot and hosting classes on, and, teaching people how to use the violet flame, because it is so incredible how this clears karma. And something every single twin flame has in common is these karmic patterns and these past life experiences. And so when we begin to use the violet flame on a day-to-day basis, we're clearing our energy, we're clearing the negative karma, and we are resetting. We're hitting the reset button basically on the akashic records and resetting our energy. So this means that all those, that string of 5 past lives where you and your twin flame kept rejecting each other, that gets reset, that gets transmuted back into love. And so in this life, you don't have to keep rejecting your twin flame, and your twin flame doesn't have to keep rejecting you, because you're clearing that energy. You're resetting it and you're forgiving each other. Something that comes through so strongly with the violet flame is it is the frequency of forgiveness. I kid you not, for there's nothing worse than unforgiveness and resentment that causes blockages between twin flames. Resentment and grudges, if you're trying to create separation with your twin flame, that is what you want to create. You want to create resentment and blockages. Like, that is the biggest block. But obviously, we don't want to create blockages. We want to heal. So we want to invoke the violet flame, and we want to start by forgiving ourselves, giving ourselves love, and forgiving ourselves for every time that we messed up, that we, you know, basically fucked up, like every time that we messed up, and realizing that we're just human and that we can be forgiven. And when we forgive ourselves, then we can forgive our twin flame. But it always starts with self-forgiveness. It's not possible to forgive someone else if you don't have love and compassion towards yourself. You just won't be able to. And so we invoke the violet flame to forgive ourselves and then forgive our twin flame. And that is so, so, so powerful at clearing the heart chakra cord between you and your twin flame. So when we start working with the Akashic records and learning about all of our past experiences with our twin flame on a soul level, we start to step into what I call sovereignty and authority in the soul matrix. We begin to realize, wow, I'm in charge of my life. There's things that I don't remember that I'm responsible for because my soul did that. I'm going to take responsibility for my energy. I'm going to clear these karmic cycles, and I'm going to basically reset our connection back to its high vibrational, loving state, the healed state. And so every twin flame really needs to work with the Akashic records and the violet flame in tandem with the somatic healing process for your triggers. That is so, so powerful. Those two things, so good. Amazing chef's kiss. So, last thing, soul contracts. Because you and your twin flame did not end every single past life in the way that you wanted to, there's karma that you need to sort out. Your souls will come into this life and say, you know what, we really, really gotta learn the lesson of forgiveness and healthy communication in this life. We're going to do whatever it takes to learn this. And your souls are doing that because they love each other. Because truthfully, anytime we have conflict or karma or a karmic connection with someone in the physical world, that's reflecting a shadow aspect within ourselves we're meant to heal, to reconnect back with the soul love that we have for each other, especially our twin flame, right? Because our twin flame is oftentimes our life partner. We're like buddy buddy with them on a soul level. So if we've got problems with them, if we've got beef with them, we our soul like really wants to heal that. That is why you love your twin flame so much. That is why you can't stop thinking about your twin flame, because your soul remembers this promise that you made to heal yourself and resolve those negative energies. You don't even need to be in contact with your twin flame to resolve this stuff. A lot of the times twin flames actually will dip into a separation. And by the way, separations aren't guaranteed. There's misinformation about that. Separations are something that happens. Sometimes it's in your soul contract, but there's nothing in your twin flame journey that like has to happen. There's actually like no such thing as twin flame stages. That is the biggest lie that has been sold to you. Um Anyways, where was I going with that? So it really is about resolving the karma, forgiving each other, forgiving yourself, and releasing the karma, releasing the pain, and loving yourselves back into your state of worthiness, healthy communication, etc. So it is in your soul contract with your twin flame, and this is universal for every single twin flame, because if you're alive on the planet today, you are working through karma, because Earth is like a school, and I'm sure you've heard that. We are here to ascend and to heal and to remember our power as a soul, and that we always have a choice. We always have a choice. And we have so much power when we really, really decide that we do and connect with our soul again. We have so much power to heal ourselves and our connections and to bring harmony to our relationships and to make the world a better place. There is no good reason that we have to be backstabbing each other and robbing each other and hurting each other. It does not have to be like that. It is a choice. Something so pivotal for every single twin flame, and this is going to be universal. And not everything that I talk about is universal, and I will always specify if it's universal or not. But something that is universal to every single twin flame on the planet is that part of your pre-birth intention before incarnating on planet Earth with your twin flame and with the whole soul contract that you set up is that you came here to bring healing to this planet, to show others that there is a better way to do relationships. And so that's why twin flames are often met with challenges in their connection. And you'll often find that you cannot really settle down with your twin flame in dysfunction. The dysfunction will blow the both of you apart. It's too triggering, it's too intense. And then you will almost be held in this like holding pattern until you can address the karmic patterns, address the pain, address where you're out of alignment with love and sovereignty and power, and choose to do things differently, to do things from an authentic place. Authenticity is a really, really big theme that every single twin flame is working through right now. You're going to have a really hard time connecting with your twin flame when you're being inauthentic, because it is just a repelling energy. But when you are totally authentic and when you're working through your triggers and healing yourself and you get authentic, like you and your twin flame come together like glue. So that is soul contracts. Let's talk about the third thing: intention setting, manifesting your union in a very clear way, and following your intuitive guidance. I hate to break this to some of those twin flame coaches online who honestly don't know what they're talking about. And I'm just going to say it. There's a lot of twin flames or twin flame quote unquote coaches on the internet who are just projecting from a wounded place. They're saying, you gotta detach, you gotta let go. It's the only way. And you gotta be careful with the information that you're absorbing. Are you getting information from a reputable source? You know, is the person that you're getting information from, when they're talking about it, is it coming from a neutral, positive, empowered place? Or is it fear mongering? Or is it a personal projection? Something that is so important to look for in, and this goes for any spiritual teacher, any coach, anyone you're taking information from, is, are they talking from a place of neutrality and wisdom or and mission, or are they talking out of their ass? That is going to be upsetting for some people listening to that. If, if you're listening to this and you identify as someone who is a twin flame coach, who has been online and has been projecting your own personal experience, I think that a lot of people get in this space because we're just human. And at the end of the day, we're just using our mind to try and figure things out. But as a twin flame, you have to be so, so, so discerning of who you listen to. If you're listening to someone and their content is making you feel worse, if it's making you feel anxious, if it's getting you into a place of controlling and needing to know, and also pessimism, if it's dragging your vibration down, it's probably not high vibrational information. It's probably not what you want to listen to. So, and even like the spiritual fluffy stuff, like, oh, twin flames are meant to be together, like you and your twin flame are created for each other and you're meant to be together, just do the mirror exercise. Oh man, I'm calling so many people out here, but I have to say it. It would be a crime not to talk about this because I see, like, in hundreds and thousands of clients that I've worked with, how damaging this stuff is. You will not magically end up with your twin flame. And it's not because you're not meant to be together, whatever that means. It's because everything that happens in your life, everything, because of universal laws and the pure power of your soul, the sovereignty of your soul over what you experience, you're going to experience what you choose to experience. And sometimes, most of the time, most of us are choosing unconsciously. We're choosing energies and we're not even aware of the energies we're choosing. For example, I'm going to give you an example, and I can already feel this is going to resonate with a lot of people just because of the energy. But let's say you're going online and you're listening to one of those twin flame coaches and they're saying to you, you got to detach. You got to not care. You got to have no attachment, and then your twin flame will be chasing you. Well, if we actually feel into the frequency of that, it's actually coming from a pretty scared, hurt, and controlling place. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling and smelling a tinge of resentment and unforgiveness and scarcity and powerlessness. And let me ask you this, and like really ask yourself this: if you're going through a separation or difficulties in communication with your twin flame, when you're getting in this energy of like, I'm going to detach and I'm going to show them that I don't care about them and that I'm so, so perfect on my own. First of all, you don't have to do that. We're a social species. It's okay to want someone. It's okay to need people. Like, it's not a crime. And I don't know why. Well, I do know why. People make it out to be such a crime. We've been fed this bullshit that if we admit that we want to be with someone or that we have a heartfelt desire to be with them, they're going to run away from us. And we gotta just pretend that we don't care. We gotta be so detached and stoic and apathetic. And oh, look at me, I'm spiritual. Like, I'm lighting my incense every day. I'm so detached. I don't need anyone. That's toxic. Let me tell you, that's toxic and that's unnecessary, and it's coming from fear. What kind of world would we be living in if the only way to be in a long lasting relationship with the love of our life is to be okay with totally losing them, and we don't have, and we just like don't feel any way about it. I'm totally fine. Like I don't care. I'm so detached. I'm so ascended. I'm so spiritual. Like what? Like that, I'm sorry, but that's not real life. It's not real life. We're human beings. It's never ever gonna be like that. So just like take a deep breath with me and just like let's let go of that. Let's let go of that false light belief. Dude, let me tell you that your desires and the longing that you feel in your heart and the love that you feel in your heart for your twin flame is so beautiful. And that is such an attractive energy to your twin flame. The only person who doesn't think that's amazing is you, because you cringe at yourself. Because there's parts of you that have been stepped on and rejected and cast aside and told that you're not worthy. It's time to be like, F the bullshit. I get to feel my human emotions. Like, I am not a freaking robot. You're not a freaking robot. We're not meant to be robots. We are meant to experience the full depth of human emotion. You're allowed to want to be with your twin flame. That's a really attractive energy. Okay, I want you to think about this for a second. Like, really, like, think about this for a second. And I hope that your mind is being blown right now. Like, really just feel the essence of what I'm saying for a second. In your true heart's desires and feelings, like, open your heart for a second and just imagine your twin flame and your twin flame loving you and wanting to be with you. That is an attractive energy to you. The only time that that's not attractive to you is that if it's not your twin flame or you have a lot of resentment towards them and you need to do some self-compassion and really nurture yourself. But like, if your heart is open and your heart chakra is clear, that's a hella attractive energy. How attractive is it to find someone who just admits what they want out loud? That is super fucking attractive. So this bullshit that you've been fed about you gotta be so detached, not give a shit about outcomes or blah, 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 blah. It's just so cruel. It's so cruel. And as a twin flame coach, I don't like the word coach. I just use it because it kind of describes what I do, but I really just see myself as a channel and an evidential medium, providing evidence that I'm tapped in and that I know what I'm talking about. But you know, these people are just saying this from fear. Detach, and really ask yourself, like, what paradigm am I subscribing to? And really just let go of the control games. Like, this stuff comes from, we think that if we admit that we want what we want, we're not going to get it. This is usually from childhood, right? Like, we have to get our needs met in a covert way because our parents are not nurturing us in the ways that we need. But this doesn't have to be your reality. We're adults. We got to heal this. We got to like make a new way. We got to create a new paradigm for relationships. Like, if you have kids or you plan to have kids, you plan to be a parent. Do you really want to teach your kids that they can't admit what they want? If they admit what they want, it's not going to happen for them. They have to like manipulate and like trick the universe and like force someone to love them by being totally detached and stoic. Like, is that really, it's not healthy. It's also not necessary. You can want to be with your twin flame. That's not gonna push them away. Okay, side note, I totally did not plan to go on that tangent, but it's probably a channeled message. because it's probably what a lot of the Twin Flame Collective, what you guys are going through right now. So I'd say if there's anything to detach from, it's detach from the people who are telling you to detach, you know? And this doesn't mean we have to get so like hyper focused and obsessed with our twin flame, but like, God, like, give yourself a break. Like, let yourself want to be with one person that you love. Like, is that such a crime? I don't think it's a crime. I think it's a wildly attractive energy, and I think we should own that. Own that shit. It's attractive. Okay. Let's go back to what we were talking about before I went on that tangent. You got to set intentions with your twin flame journey. When you don't have intentions, when you have not clearly consciously set an intention, you are running on your autopilot, your subconscious programs. For example, I might say, man, I really want to be with my twin flame. That's what I want. But then maybe all of my behavior is reflecting someone who is running away constantly, avoiding my triggers, thinking negative thoughts about the future of my connection with my twin flame, and constantly doubting them and feeling negative and just simmering in my negative energy. What I really got to do, if that's me in the situation, is take a pause, take a breath, and be like, okay, I see that you're feeling really upset about this. Like, let's just take a breather and reassure myself and say, it's okay to want to be with your twin flame. It's okay. I give you permission to want that. I'm always going to give you permission to want that. You don't have to know how it's going to play out. You don't have to rationalize your feelings. I just accept you. I just freaking accept you. I just accept it. I just accept how you feel. And that's the energy of unconditional love and compassion. And then I'm going to sit down with myself. I'm going to say, okay, what are my needs here? Like, I clearly have needs that are going on. And it's my responsibility to myself to love myself, to show up for myself every single day, and to ask myself, what do I need? Maybe the response is, when I do this self inquiry, is to say, okay, I truthfully like really want a long-term relationship that is so loving and compassionate and passionate and like romantic, and I want this whole dream relationship. Then I've just identified my needs. Okay, those are my needs. I'm going to own those needs, right? All of the vulnerable feelings. And then I'm going to say, okay, and you can even write this down. I might write this down and put it somewhere I can see every single day to affirm this. Then I'm going to set crystal clear intentions with my energy, with the universe, with my spirit guides, with my higher self. And I'm going to say, okay, it is now my intention, my crystal clear, empowered intention, that I am going to manifest a long-term relationship that has healthy communication. And that means I'm making a promise to myself to show up, to heal my triggers, and to embody the healthy communication and to have a fun relationship. Okay, then I'm going to start cultivating fun in my life because I want to draw in my twin flame or that partner who I can have fun with. So I'm going to cultivate that. And, you know, then I want this dream relationship. Okay, then I'm going to pursue my dream career. Because the frequency of having your dream career is going to be as fun as having your dream relationship. So I'm going to pursue my dream career, no more excuses. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it compassionately. You'll notice how there's a very big difference between that, what I just did, the intention setting, versus, oh, I feel so anxious. Like, I don't know if we're going to be together. It's okay because twin flames always end up together. And I just have to, I just have to believe. Like, do you see and do you feel how different that energy is? That energy is so different. Because one energy is like, oh, I hope it happens. I really hope it happens. The second energy is like, okay, cut the bullshit. I have the power to make this happen. And I freaking deserve this. Why wouldn't I deserve this? So therefore, I am going to choose to bring about this in my life from this energy of empowerment and peace, self-love, self-compassion and belief. Like just feel the difference in that energy. So yes, I do. It's nice to go online and hear like, yes, you will end up with your twin flame. That is a good way to build a good belief system, but like freaking empower yourself. Because if you're feeling anxious, let me tell you, if you're feeling anxious about your twin flame connection and I don't know if this is going to happen, freaking make it happen. Create that energy. This doesn't mean chasing your twin flame. It means you are choosing this. As the conscious creator of your life, I am choosing this energy. I'm choosing to show up for myself and I'm simply deciding that it's going to happen. There is this amazing manifestation teacher that I follow. She, like, one of her methods is I am simply deciding. And this is so powerful because it puts you in the driver's seat. If you say, like, I am simply deciding that I get my dream relationship and that I give myself permission to want it to be with my twin flame, there is nothing in your way, right? Suddenly, all of your triggers, all of your rejection wounds, all of the bullshit that those twin flame coaches are saying to you on TikTok or on the internet or on some strange corner of YouTube doesn't matter anymore because your voice is louder and it should be that way. Like your voice should be louder than what you're hearing from other people. So freaking empower yourself, man. Yeah. So let's recap everything that we talked about in this episode. How do we completely heal our twin flame connection and have our dream relationship and our dream life? Number one, we're going to heal our triggers. We're going to become aware of our childhood trauma and our ancestral trauma through awareness, through self compassion, through somatic emotional processing methods. If you want a really, really, really detailed step on how to do this, Master Your Triggers 7 Days to Union is my twin flame healing course. It's amazing. It's what I teach everyone on a coaching call. Go enroll in it. You can also get personal help from me when you enroll in it, but it teaches you the exact somatic method plus the twin flame healing method and the violet flame healing method. It's so, so good. Jam packed with stuff. Number two, we're going to develop our intuition, tap into our akashic records, use the violet flame to heal past life, karmic experiences, and karmic energy buildup between us and our twin flame. Collapse those old timelines, do that healing, transmute that energy, forgive ourselves, forgive our twin flame, love again, right? We're also going to intuitively complete our soul contracts with our twin flame. So this means, what lessons are you being pushed to learn? Where are you being stubborn? Where are you holding on to dysfunction or things that are not working, that you know are not working? Complete your soul contracts. Ascend, right? This is like everything, all the fun stuff that every spiritual guru online talks about. Is like, we're ascending. We're ascending and we're like raising our vibration. Like, this is it. But this is the nitty gritty. Soul contracts. Number three, we're going to jump off the bandwagon of just hoping and praying that it's going to work. And we're going to freaking set really crystal clear intentions for what we want to manifest. And we're going to hold ourselves accountable to making those shifts within us and bringing it about in a physical world. And this doesn't mean chasing our twin flame, it means changing our energy and aligning with our union timeline. And your union timeline is the same timeline as your life purpose, as your dream life. It's all in one. It's like one timeline. So you may as well, right? Like if you want to have good life, your twin flame connection union is also on that timeline. You may as well. Why not? Like, you may as well go there, right? There's like one place to go. So those that is my three-step roadmap to healing your twin flame connection completely. This has been a long episode, and there's even more to talk about. I mean, I know I've been talking for a long time, but there really is more. We can just go on and on and on about this, but for the sake of this episode, I'm going to leave you with that. Sit with this, digest this information, do some self-compassion, feel your triggers. Where are they living in your body? And just, delve into it. Do some research of the akashic records, enroll in master your triggers, 7 days to union, and get that ball rolling. Do that healing. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Oh, this was such an amazing first episode. Be sure to rate the podcast on Spotify so that this can reach more twin flames. Follow me at Luana Spirits on TikTok and YouTube, and Spirits Luana on Instagram to stay up to date on all future freebies, contents, courses, amazing juicy stuff that I'm going to publish about twin flames. It has been such a pleasure. Also, if you're listening here on YouTube, please leave in the comments what other podcast topics you want me to do episodes on, because I am simply loving this format and I feel like I can get so much information across to you guys. So yeah, let me know in the comments or the show notes on Spotify. Be sure to follow for more, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.